Well, Sanders, I'm starting to wonder if I really need to record these openers, as for the last month I could have just run the same intro. It was a great effort, but we didn't get the chocolates. In case you don't know, my name's Woody. Jake's got me on to discuss the standout stats each week, so let's get into this week's Moorabbin metrics. For the Man of the Match award, I decided to go with our captain, Jack Steele. Questions have been asked of Jack throughout the season, and in my opinion, this week he showed his leadership credentials. He got his somewhat expected, yet very impressive 7 ground ball gets, 13 tackles, 30 pressure acts, and he even kicked a goal. But I want to talk about his 25 disposals, 9 score involvements, and general usage for a second. In this play, early in the first quarter, I want to highlight what Steele did, as it's what we've been asking our mids to do for the majority of the season. Owens is somehow versing Grundy for the boundary throw in inside 50. Don't worry, he only gets 2 for the match. Anyway, Grundy gets the tap, but Windhager sharks the ball and gets it out to Steele. Steele turns to his right boot to snap it blindly inside 50, but he stops. He accepts the incoming pressure, maintains composure, and gets the hand pass back out to Windy, who was now free to assess the options before going inside 50. That inside 50 was spoiled, but it ended up in Brad Hill's hands, who found Sinclair, who finished it off with a goal. Similar can be seen at the start of the fourth quarter. Steele finds the ball from the hit out, and instead of getting his centre clearance by kicking it long and getting a shallow inside 50, he sees the defensive stopper from Sydney being drawn into the contest, so he fires a hand pass over the top to Garcia, who runs to the edge of the box before going much deeper inside 50. Now, that didn't result in the score that we wanted, but those slight adjustments from Steele's game and those that followed his lead kept this contest close throughout. The other player I heavily considered for the Man of the Match award was Marcus Windhager. He had a career high of 36 disposals, and while I think effective disposals are dubious, he had 32 of them, which is 9 more than his previous highest. He got 14 handball receives, 9 ground ball gets, 8 marks, and 5 clearances, all from stoppage, as he didn't attend 1 centre bounce. I also want to give a quick shout out to Wilkie for his 8 marks and 14 intercept possessions, Caminiti for his 12 spoils, Brad Hill for his 12 marks, Naz for his 721 metres gained, Liam Stocker for his 4 intercept possessions, and Rowan Marshall for his 2 goal assists, one of which came from his only clearance, where he followed Steele's lead by getting possession, drawing the opponent, hand passing over the top to Garcia, who this time ran on to kick the goal from outside 50. But let's get on to the team stats. We had more disposals with more contested and uncontested possessions. We had more inside 50s with fewer turnovers and more running bounces. We were slightly behind Sydney for disposal efficiency, but were slightly ahead of our season average. Unfortunately, the same can't be said for our efficiency inside 50, where we were behind both our opponent and our season average. However, if we look at chain percentages, we were better than Sydney in every facet. We did see similar problems to previous weeks, with hitouts heavily favouring our opponent. We lost the first possession by 16, however we managed to all but level the clearances, only ending with 1 less from centre bounce. We also ended up winning the post-clearance contested possessions, the post-clearance ground ball gets, and the ground ball gets in general. We seemed to take some good strides with time in possession, levelling at 40% apiece. However, we lost the last quarter and final 10 minutes by 2%. We had more marks than our opponent and got on top of Sydney in contested marks too. However, we lost the marks inside 50, not getting a single one in the last quarter, to Sydney's 3. Finally, when looking at the defensive stats, we won the tackles inside 50, and 1 percenters. All of this points to a fairly even match, which I think can be seen in the score sources and score origins, but where I think the difference lay was Sydney's exceptional kicking for goal. Of their 17 shots from outside 30, they kicked 9 to our 6 from 15. That being said, there was only 1 point difference between our expected scores, so despite the disappointment, this match probably wasn't far off a fair result. Otherwise, Sainers, normally I aim to review footage of things I think we should improve upon, as it helps get my message across, but honestly, I'm not sure what we should review this week, as this match, I think we showed improvement in nearly every aspect of things I've asked for throughout the season. I went over it last week, but clearances are up, defensive pressure is up, inside 50s are up, and last week I lamented how difficult we make goals look at times, but I thought we improved there too. So this week I wanted to quickly show what I thought was some of our best ball movement of the year. In this play, early in the first, Naz collects the ball in the defensive 50, he spots someone down the line and goes for the kick. Whether he intended it to go there or not, Garcia gets the ball and begins to exit the defensive 50. He takes a bounce, assesses his options, and hand passes it wide to Sharman's advantage. Sharman fires a hand pass back inside to Steele running past, but he doesn't see anything he likes down the line, so he wheels back inside, inviting the tackling pressure, and gets the ball out to Windhager. Windy has time and space to assess his options before spotting Owens down the line, who doesn't mark it but does earn himself a free kick. We see something similar at the start of the second quarter. Sinclair has the kick in and goes long towards the boundary line. The ball gets out the back and Steele finds it. He hand passes to Windhager running past on the outside. He keeps going before seeing Naz run past him, so he gives it off. Heaney starts to close in on Naz on the boundary line, so Naz goes back to Windy. This becomes a quick 1-2 as James Jordan was closing in on him, but by that time, Naz had broken away from Heaney. He collects the ball, spots Higo inside 50, drills it to him, but unfortunately Higo couldn't finish off that play with a goal. But both of these plays and many more throughout the match were exactly what I've been asking for in terms of ball movement and maintaining possession. And yes, I could have focused on individual mistakes or ball movement in the last few minutes, but those were already known about and will eventually be ironed out of our game as we get more comfortable with ourselves and the game plan in general. But that about sums up my points for the week. If you want to see more of my face, I've got my own channel at Wooden Spoon Data, where we do post-match chats with fans, so come along, put your 2 cents in at some point, but I'll be here each and every week to go over the standout Saints stats. I want to thank Jake for having me, I want to thank you for watching, and I'll see you next week. Go Saints!